Hey guys, what the fuck is up, you guys? My name is emandan642. Welcome to a brand new video. This is an album review. Um, First off, I don't remember if I had my another shelf, but I got another shelf. I don't remember if I showed that in another video. Also, I got a computer. This is the first time, my first actual fucking computer. So thank you, Cowquack, for selling me his old computer. Thank you, Cowquack. And welcome to brand new album review, album ranking. This is Interpol, post-punk revival band, amazing band. Fucking love them. Have like two of their albums on vinyl, the first two albums on vinyl and the first two albums on CD. Great band. Saw them live 4 years ago. They're one of the few favorite bands of mine that hasn't really changed their sound all that much, but still, very good band. The most recent and, in my opinion, worst album by Interpol. Interpol doesn't have any bad albums, but they do have multiple mediocre ones. And it sucks because Interpol has some great albums, but like half their discography is just okay. This album is the most uninspired of anything they've made. It has some decent moments, but they're very few and far between. The emphasis on piano is neat, but the album is too tame and watered down to be anything interesting. After 3 solid albums, Interpol's self-titled album was a big downgrade. Fuck! It is bland and uninteresting. There isn't very much to say about it, honestly. Every song is pretty much a repeat of the last. It's not a bad album, it's just so bland and boring. The band has never changed their sound very much, but each previous album was very solid and had great songs on them. And each one sounded different enough to be unique and interesting from each other. But this album, not so much. The opener, Success, is an alright track. I like the guitar riff with the drums. Barricade is another decent track with a cool drum beat and nice vocals. The last couple tracks get to the point of monotony, but I do like the transitions between them. Interpol doesn't do song transitions often, but I love song transitions. Like the self-titled album, Marauder is just fine. I think it's a bit better because there are some songs I think are memorable. There still isn't much that's worth listening to. The album does nothing to change the band's sound, it's just the same old Interpol. If You Really Love Nothing is a catchy track. It's enjoyable but nothing that interesting. The Rover is pretty groovy and again catchy. It's a fun listen and the best song off the album. Complications is another good song. It's a slower, more mellow song. Flight of Fancy is a decent song, but the instrumental outro is kinda cool. Side note, I don't like how Interpol doesn't do longer songs anymore like this, and it sucks. Early songs like Stella Was a Diver, The New, and Specialist are all over 6 minutes and all great songs, but Interpol doesn't do anything that interesting anymore, sadly. This album attempts to do something unique for Interpol, and that is have not one, but 2 interludes, and they are both utterly pointless. 2 of my favorite bands, Tool and Typo Negative, have a ton of interludes and are usually really interesting sounding and add to the album, but the 2 interludes on Marauder add nothing to the album. They don't sound like anything, just a waste of time. And they are called Interlude 1 and Interlude 2. How unoriginal. The rest of the album is the same thing over and over again, and the songs don't differ too much. This album was somewhat a return to form after their previous album. Pintor is a really solid album. With each new Interpol album, they got progressively worse, but this one gets better. It's not as good as Antics or Our Love to Admire, but I think it has some strong points. I think the album starts out great and the second half is great with only a couple forgettable tracks. The opener, All the Rage Back Home, is a great track. Definitely the best off the album. Which is funny because the best songs off the previous 2 albums are the first songs. The guitar melody is memorable and catchy, and when the song kicks in, it sounds great. It's easily the best song off the album, so it sucks when it doesn't reach that high again. With Our Love to Admire, it comes close with other songs, and with self-titled, none of the songs are really interesting enough to matter. My Desire is another solid track. It gets repetitive with the drums and guitars, but it's good. The next couple tracks are alright, nothing special. I like the guitar intro for Same Town, New Story, but that's about it. The second half of the album is really solid. Everything Is Wrong is one of the best tracks off the album. It's melancholic and impactful. The song feels like it's holding back somehow and could be much louder and I guess more aggressive, but still great. Breaker 1 is spacey and moving, it's really cool. Ancient Ways is groovy and catchy. Tidal Waves is unique and interesting. It's again spacey. I like the drums and guitars, and the synths at the end was really unexpected but very welcome. Twice as Hard is very shoegazy and really cool sounding. This album becomes something really neat at the end. Pintor really impressed me listening to it, but I'm glad it was good. It's hard to place this album because there are some amazing songs off of Our Love to Admire, but there are also some just alright tracks on it. I was really excited at first listening to it because the songs I've already heard were great, but nearly half the album feels stale and very samey to the rest of it. The opener, Pioneer to the Falls, is amazing though. In my opinion, it's the best song the band has made that isn't off of Turn On the Bright Lights. The song has a really intriguing and cool sounding guitar melody. It sounds much grander than the band's previous work. About 3 minutes in, the song explodes with this amazing tremolo-picked guitar solo. It's an epic climax. The song ends with a nice drum fill and guitar melody. No I in Threesome is a really solid track. I like the use of piano. It's nothing new, but the song is very captivating with a great instrumental. The Scale is the start of the decent tracks. Not bad, but not that good. Most tracks off this album are solid, so that's why I'm rating it so high, but some are hard to distinguish. The Heimlich Maneuver is another really solid track. Catchy instrumental and punchy vocals. The good songs off this album are either very emotional or just really solid rock songs. Mammoth is another really cool, hard-hitting, solid song. Pace is the Trick is a bad offender of sounding too alike to other songs. The guitar melody sounds kinda similar to the melody from Pioneer to the Falls, but the drum beat sounds even more familiar. But it's not that big of a deal because this song is actually pretty good. Rest My Chemistry is another amazing song. I love the piano and the lead guitar melody. It's a melancholic song, very laid back, like you're drifting in the ocean. The song shows the amazing emotional side to this album. I love the instrumental to the song. I wish they continued the ending of the song that was just the instrumental, but it's still so good. The last 2 songs of the album are great emotional songs too. Wrecking Ball is really solid, with a great guitar part and almost ambient sound to it. The Lighthouse is an amazing closer. It's grand and vibrant, it's sad and meaningful. It never picks up the pace, and I think it works in its favor. I know it's a bonus track, but Mind Over Time is another great track. Amazing emotional piano and guitars. It also sounds great as a closer song too. Our Love to Admire is an underrated album with some great tracks. I think at its best, this album is way better than Antics, but those couple tracks bring the album down decently. The follow-up to the amazing debut album is a poppier, more accessible album. Antics loses the dark edge that Turn On the Bright Lights had, but Antics is still very solid with strong songwriting. Bright Lights is looked on much more favorably and is much more critically acclaimed, but Antics seems to be more popular with hits like Evil, Slow Hands, and Come Here. It's much more straightforward, but that doesn't take away from the quality. You could hear the brighter tone with the first song, Next Exit. It's a great opener, similar to Untitled, but brighter. Evil is the band's biggest song, and it's a solid track. It's the song that got me into the band initially. Obstacle 1 may have made them a favorite, but Evil got me into them. It's a catchy and lively track. It has that signature post-punk Interpol sound. Narc is my favorite song off this album. I really like the guitar melody and the vocals. I love the longing sounding chorus. It sounds so passionate and open. The bridge and outro are amazing too. It's unique and interesting. Take You on a Cruise is a very mystical and ethereal sounding song. I really like the imagery of being at sea. The bridge gives me chills, how the song nearly stops, then explodes. Slow Hands is a solid, energetic track. Good example of the different tone from the first album, but still a lively and upbeat song. Public Pervert is a slow ballad track. It has that same boat, sea imagery from Take You on a Cruise. It's a warm and calming track. The closer, A Time to Be So Small, is a solid slow closer. It sounds the most like the first album. It's calm but sad. The instrumental the song ends on is really nice. Makes you want to stare at a starry night sky. Antics may not be as coherent or impactful as Turn on the Bright Lights, but it's still a great album with many great moments. This is an album that has stuck with me for a very long time. It took a while for it to click with me, but when it did, it became a favorite of mine. It's a unique post-punk revival album. This kind of sound is synonymous with Interpol, and they haven't deviated much from it. This album is dark and gothic at times, but it can be very energetic and hard-hitting. The whole album gives you that big New York City vibe. I visited New York City for the first time last summer and listened to this album in its entirety and completely understood it. The opener, Untitled, is a somber, ethereal-like song. A really great opener. It sounds like being half asleep on a subway at 3 a.m. It gets you into the mood for the album. The song transitions well into the much more lively Obstacle 1, one of my favorite songs of all time. It's haunting and gothic and amazing. It's sad and mournful. I love the guitar part. It's simple yet memorable. The bridge builds up to this amazing ending, finishing a perfect song. The album once again slows down for NYC, a song obviously about New York City, directly. The song makes you feel so alone in this massive city going a mile a minute. Say Hello to the Angels is a fast, energetic song. It's probably the most upbeat song off the album. The guitars are awesome. The second verse in the second half of the song is so cool sounding. Hands Away is a cold, short song. It feels like a fleeting moment. I do wish the song was longer because it sounds so amazing. The vocals swell from calm, barely audible to soaring above the instrumental. The intro to Obstacle 2 is the only part of the album I don't really like. The rest of the song is great, of course, especially the chorus. I love the ending of the chorus. The last couple tracks are all amazing. Stella Was a Diver and She's Always Down is an amazing ballad. It's a longer song at 6.5 minutes, but every second is worth it. The consistent pounding drums complement the ethereal sounding guitars very well. The song slows down 4.5 minutes in. The guitars are very nice and the different rhythms sound wonderful. Roland is an energetic song about this character named Roland. He is a butcher who kills people and severs their bodies. This is a louder, more punkier song. I really like the outro solo. It's pretty simple for a solo, but it sounds great and it mixes well with the rest of the instruments. The New is another amazing somber ballad. It feels like a grand song. It's a longing and remorseful song. The song calms down, then builds up to this epic climax with the guitar solo. Similar to Roland's solo, it isn't much, but man is it impactful. It's repetitive, but I love how it sounds. And I love when it comes back near the end of the song, but higher. It's an incredible experience. Leif Erikson is an ethereal send-off to the album. I love the line, "I'll bring you when my lifeboat sails through the night." The instrumental stops except the drums for that line, and it sounds so amazing. The vocals intensify right before the end of the song, and it leaves the album on this impactful and heartfelt moment. This whole album is an amazing journey of emotions. It's easily a top 5 favorite for me. It's an amazing sound that I didn't think I would like, but I've loved it for years at this point. Well, that was awkward. Okay, so that was it. Yeah. I'm gonna make a Indiana Jones movie review because the new one's coming out. Or by the time a video is uploaded, it should be out already. All right, well, that was awkward. Okay, next I'll make an album review. Fuck you.